Welcome back, dear students. I hope you all are fine, safe, and healthy at home. Okay, so let's start our today's session. Today, I would like to explain remaining important key elements of lesson number 4 of history, and the name of the lesson is Colonialisms and Tribal Society. In the previous session, what we learned, student? In the previous session, we learned about the tribals under British rule. Also, we learned about the effects of the colonialisms on tribals, right? In today's session, we are going to learn about the two major uprising. These are Santhal uprising and second one, that is Munda uprising. Okay. So we will do the case study of this tribal uprising. The constant effort by the British to displace the Adivasi communities and to disrupt and break their isolation resulted in a series of revolts across the length and the breadth of the country. So here we will be looking at the Santhal and Munda uprising. First one, we will do the case study of Santhal uprising. It was a rebellion against both British colonial authority and zamindari system by the Santhal people. Okay, Santhal is a tribe. So this Santhal tribe is lived in the hilly areas near Rajmahal Hills, and they revolted against the British development plans which evict them from their homes. Yes, the Santhal country extended from Bhagalpur in Bihar in the north to Orissa in the south, and it is situated near the Rajmahal Hills, stretching from Hazaribagh to the borders of Bengal. The Santhal tribes had reclaimed means recover every square foot of suitable land from their jungle, right student? They cultivated and lived peacefully in this region till the introduction of the permanent settlement of Bengal, which led to the eviction of many Santhals from their land and reduced them to positions of tenants. Yes, students, already we aware that before the Britishers came to India, the Santhals, they were living very peacefully in this region. And who introduces permanent settlement? Already in the previous chapter we learnt about it, student. Yes, Lord Cornwallis, he introduces permanent settlement. So one of the reason for the Santhal uprising was the introduction of permanent settlement of Bengal, which led to the eviction. Eviction means expel from property of many Santhals from their land and reduce them to position of tenants. The introduction of second reason of this Santhal uprising was the introduction of the railways and roads for the extension of the colonial rule to the interior of the country. It was the another cause of the Santhal rebellion. The construction of railway in 1853 in the Santhal Pargana led to the destruction of the traditional way of life of the Santhals. With the arrival of the railways came the traders and merchants who persuaded the Santhals peasants to buy luxury goods on credit. Okay, these traders and merchants, they persuade the Santhals peasants to buy luxury goods on credit, and later at harvest time they force them to pay back the loans along with interest. So the balance against the Santhal in the Mahajan cum trader book, it increased year by year till the poor peasant was compelled, he was forced to give up not only his crops but gradually his plough and bullocks, and finally his land to meet the demands of the traders. So they were reduced to the status of bond slaves, where they had to pledge not for their services. Okay. And the growing discontent means dissatisfaction of the Santhals. Just look at the picture of this Santhal uprising, student. The growing discontent of the Santhals led to the rise of a number of revolts which were targeted both against the local moneylenders and the Britishers. These revolts stretch over a period of time and often term at the Santhal Hul or the Santhal movement for liberation. And of all the revolts, the most prominent was one which arose between 1855 till 1857. It was headed by four brothers. Whose these four brothers are? Sidhu, Kanhu, Chand and Bhairav. These are the four brothers. Okay. So the most prominent was the one which arose between 1855 till 1857, and it was headed by four brothers. These are Sidhu, Kanhu, Chand and Bhairav of Bhagnadihi. Okay. It covered the vast area which include the entire central region from Bihar to Orissa, and their rage and fury. Rage, it means the uncontrolled anger, and fury, it means the violent anger. Okay. So it was directed against this rebellion. It was directed against the moneylenders, the police, the civil court officers and the landlords. And in this rebellion, many landlords, traders and Mahajans were killed. Some historians express this rebellion as the brutalities committed by the rebels. Brutality means what, student? It means the physical violence. So some historians express about this rebellion, central rebellion, as the brutalities committed by the rebels. But actually, if we will see that, the peasants, they had to suffer at the hands of the landlords and traders. They had to suffer a lot at the hands of the landlords and the traders. The Santhal rebels were joined by poor and landless peasants of other lower caste and village artisans. They defeated the British troops. The Santhal defeated the British troops in several encounters, forcing the colonial administration to declare martial law. Now, what is martial law? It means the control of a city or a country by an army instead of by its usual leaders. So the Santhal defeated the British troops in several encounters and forced this colonial administration to declare martial law over a vast expanse from the Birbhum and Murshidabad in Bengal to Bhagalpur in Bihar, the areas where the rebels succeeded. See, here we can see these areas where these Santhal rebels, they succeeded over the Britishers and they defeated British troops in several encounters and destroy all the traces of British rule. But at last, however, the Santhal rebellion, it was brutally crushed by the British troops. Finally, it was crushed by the British troops. And about 10,000 rebels perished in the unequal fight between the peasants armed with bows and arrows on the one side and the British soldiers equipped with firearms on the other side. Okay. Though the movement came to an end, the efforts of the four brothers did not go in vain, as it led to the passing of the Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act. This was the act which was passed, and this Santhal movement, it came to an end with this act, and this act proved certain concession to the Santhals. Through this act, the Santhals got certain concession, and it gave the charge of maintaining law and order to the village headman. So here we understood about the Santhal uprising. Here, who were these four brothers? Who headed this? It was headed by the four brothers. Their names are Sidhu, Kanhu, Chand and Bhairav. Right, student? Okay, I hope you understand this. Now next uprising, that is Munda uprising. The second major uprising, it was the Munda uprising. The Munda rebellion too is one of the most important tribal uprising against the British rule in India. The Mundas were a prominent tribe in the Bihar region. During the British rule, many non-tribals, they migrated to the traditional tribal areas and grabbed the land owned by the tribal groups. Grabbed means controlled, and seized the land owned by the tribal groups. In due course, the tribals were compelled. Compelled means they were forced to work as a laborers under the non-tribals, and this system was locally called as Bait Begari or forced labor. Okay, the Mundas protested against their customary rights being taken over by the Dikus. Now what is Dikus? Dikus, it is referred for the traders, moneylenders, zamindars or outsiders. They were referred as the Dikus, okay, and they rebelled against the British and the zamindars for the reclamation of their customary rights like right to free fuel, grazing and hunting rights. The Munda rebellion was led by whom? It was led by Munda leader. His name is Bisra Munda. Look at the picture of this Bisra Munda student. He was a young Adivasi and he united the Mundas and waged a long struggle against the policies of the British and their accomplices, the Zamindars and the moneylenders. The main rebellion took place in the region south of Ranchi in 1899 till 1900, and the rebellion aimed to drive away the British and establish Munda Raj or Munda rule in this region. And the rebellion came to be called Ullugan or the Great Tumlut. Bisra Munda, he claimed to be God's representative. He born to protect the Mundas. Like this way it was claimed he is the God's representative, and he strongly protested against non-tribals occupying tribal lands and urged the Munda farmers not to pay rent to the zamindars. Bisra Munda started the revolt in the Chota Nagpur region, and the entire Munda community joined together under this leadership. They attacked all symbols of British authority, British officers, missionaries, churches and police stations. So they attacked all the symbols of British authority like British officers, missionaries, churches and police stations. But at last they were captured by the British in 1895, and this rebellion came to an end. The Munda rebellion, it was a significant event in the history of modern India and source of inspiration to the many other tribal groups who fell victim to British exploitation. And the rebellion, it led to the passing of the Chota Nagpur Tenancy Act of 1908, which banned forced labor and also assured them some of the customary rights which the Mundas claimed. Yes, so with this Chota Nagpur Tenancy Act of 1908, this rebellion, it passed this act, and it which banned forced labor and also assured them some of the customary rights which the Mundas claimed. Okay. Gradually, the administration too became a little considerate towards the demands of the tribals and tried to address their grievances in a peaceful manner. So here we understood about the two major uprisings. These are the Santal uprising. Here Santal uprising, it was led by the four brothers. These are the Sidhu, Kannu, Chand and Bhairav. And this Munda uprising, it was led by whom? It was led by a Munda leader called Bisra Munda. He was a young Adivasi. Okay. Now the next important key elements of this lesson, that is tribal chiefs under the British rule. Before the arrival of the British, in many areas the tribal chiefs were important people. Yes, they enjoyed a certain amount of economic power and had the right to administer and control their territories. In some places, they had their own policy and decided the local rules of land and forest management. So they were having the independence in their own land. Okay. But under the British rule, the functions and the powers of the tribal chiefs changed considerably. They were allowed to keep their land titles over a cluster of village and rent out lands. But they lost much of their administrative power and were forced to follow laws made by the British officials in India. They also had to pay tribute to the British and discipline the tribal groups on behalf of Britishers. And this alienated means what? Alienated means what? To be made to feel different and not belong to the group. So this alienated them in their own society, and they lost the authority they had earlier enjoyed amongst their people and were unable to fulfill their traditional functions. So they feel like they were the different one or in their own land, okay, under the British rule. Now the second important key element, that is tribal discontent. Discontent means what? It's a dissatisfaction. Why these tribals were dissatisfied? Tribals were constantly in conflict with the forces trying to exploit their illiteracy, their ignorance and knowledge of the rich natural resources. Displaced from their homes, alienated from their lands and deprived of their resource. Yes, look at this concept map here. These are the important key elements of this. Yes. Displaced from their homes, alienated from their lands, and deprived of their resources, the tribal people have often taken to armed revolt in the past. In the Rampa region of East Godavari district, 12 tribal revolts. Locally it is called as Fituris. Occurred between 1770 till 1924, and the main cause of this were the general discontent with the local administration. General discontent means the dissatisfaction with the local administration and traders and exploitation by outsiders. So one Fituri, it was between 1879 and 1916, was against the creation of forest reserves and restrictions on tribal people access to the jungle. So tribal unrest and discontent with the administration continued in independent India too. With the enactment of the Forest Conservation Act in 1980, with the enactment of the Forest Conservation Act in 1980, life became extremely difficult for the tribal people as they began to face eviction. Eviction means expel from their property. Seen more as a law and order issue rather than a social problem, the periodic outbreaks of the tribal unrest were put down by the police. Look at this concept map, student. Here, tribal chiefs under British rule, we understood that the tribals, they were very happy, they were living very peaceful life before the Britishers came to India. But under the British rule, the tribal chiefs who enjoyed some economic power, they lost their position with the coming of the British, and they were allowed to keep their land title, but they lost much of their administrative power. And they also had to pay tribute to the British and discipline the tribal groups on behalf of the British. And in tribal discontent, we can just cover up this point, student. These are the massive changes in their condition created discontent among the tribal. It created the dissatisfaction among the tribal. They were displaced from their homes, alienated from their lands and deprived of their resources. Alienated means, I explained you, that is made to feel different and not belong to the group. And many tribal revolts broke out between 1770 and 1924. So here we cover up the lesson, student. I hope you all understand this lesson. And what we learned through this lesson, we learned that the tribal uprising that took place in colonial India, and one of the main reasons why this uprising took place is because of the mismatch between the tribal way of life and the British government policies. Yes, here we understood how these government policies affected the way of life of tribals and how this tribal raised their voice against the British Empire. Yes, with this we cover up this lesson, student. Please note down the assignment related to this lesson. You have to write in detail about the Santhal uprising and Munda uprising. Okay. If you have any doubt related to this lesson, please mail me on the given mail ID which I already had provided to you, that is the 8bct@pratibhaintschool.org. This is my mail ID. This is my school mail ID. Okay, student. So whatever doubts you have related to SST, okay, only related to SST, not about the other subject I am talking, you have to send mail on this given mail ID. Your completed assignment and solved worksheet also you have to send on this mail ID. And don't forget to write comment in the comment box, student, as it going to consider your attendance. So write comment in the comment box. Thank you and have a nice day, students.